Well, how the heck are you? Thanks for hanging out. This is, the show with a guy named Mike Russell. Really, what it is right now. We're working on the title. I think that the title that's in the lead right now is in other news. So Ion will be the cool logo if that is the case. I do dig Mike Russell's America, though. I think that or Mike Russell's Americans. Ooh, see that too. A lot going on. A lot of decision making, a lot of behind the scenes. But then went to happy hour and didn't even think about it. I kid. Thank you so much for hanging out. If you didn't get the memo, Rob is no longer with the program. He is moving on to bigger and better things and really following his passion, following his heart. So we do appreciate him always. He's still my little brother from another mother, and everything's good. Everything's good with us. So please follow along, comment along, like, share, all that good stuff. Much appreciated. What's up, Greg? I appreciate your email. I will get back to you with a time and day where it works. Maybe that we can have a chat. Maybe give you a couple of options. So I will get back to that. And what's up, Ron? It's good to see you. And thank you so much again for all the participation yesterday and today. Feel free again anytime. Put suggestions in there. This is where we should go. This is what we should do. This is what we should call things. Let me know, and we'll keep it going. All right. Last night, how about this? Elon Musk and Donald Trump broke the internet. Now they are claiming 1 billion views. Okay. One out of every 8 humans on the planet watched it. I'm going to go call a little bit of shenanigans on that. Thank you, Greg. I appreciate those kind words. Let's just say it's hundreds of millions. I can get down with that. I can see that 8 billion. Okay. Maybe Russian bots are involved. Maybe Russian bots would like to watch the Trump. The thing is, it was I think the takeaway was not how insanely boring Elon Musk is. And even so much so how Donald Trump didn't interrupt the guy one time. Like there was no interruptions. Like Donald didn't jump in and come over the top of Elon. He just sat there patiently waiting through drudgery. I mean, listen. I always equate this like if you have a handful of food and you're trying to feed a deer and that deer is just like coming up nice and slow, right? Or a very timid animal. It's just like, hey, come on, you can do it, and you've got to wait. Donald Trump showed that kind of patience last night. I mean, it maybe Brendan, maybe it included rewatches, but I mean, come on, 8 billion views. I'm down. Maybe it was viewed 8 billion times. And certain platforms have a certain amount of time you have to watch for it to become a view and the like. But the biggest takeaway had nothing to do with that. The insanely boring nature of Elon Musk. He's a genius. He might save humanity. And Donald Trump just being Donald Trump. None of that was a huge takeaway. Of course, they think Kamala's a joke, and they're going back and forth, and it was a nice discussion kind of format. The takeaway was what the takeaway was. Y'all start again. I believe in coincidences. I've just never seen one. When the beginning of the show, they started like a half hour late because there was a cyber attack on X right as the show was supposed to start. Now, again, I believe in coincidences, just never seen one. There's an assassination attempt, emergency landing from his plane. And by the way, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but they're trying to pin that one of the planes that Donald Trump flew on during his campaign belonged to Epstein. He's using a charter company that has several planes that can take him from one place to the other. Trump Force One is not available. And it was like a lot like this, and I didn't know this. I don't know the world of billionaires. I'm not really versed in the world of billionaires. I would like to give it a try. But when EIB won, when Rush Limbaugh's plane, when he got the Congressional Medal of Freedom, or during the State of the Union, he didn't fly his plane too because he said my plane was in Alabama or something like that, picking up his niece. So Trump Force One is not always available. He uses a charter company. So don't buy into this. We're friends with Epstein. It's a bunch of nonsense. But that plane has to land, make an emergency landing. And now we have the biggest stream in the history of all of the internet. And it's cyber hacked in the first minute. Y'all, it is going to shock me. Not shock me. It would actually give me a pretty big amount of pride seeing this man get through this. I don't care if he wins or not. If Trump's, and I'm not talking about survives as far as an assassination camp, I mean, just doesn't just tap out, because it is a full-blown attack. Rhonda, I'm sorry. One of Trump's flights to one of his campaign events had to have an emergency landing. This was last week, I believe. So we have assassination attempt, emergency landing, and now cyber attack on what did actually become the largest stream and largest interview or conversation. Elon was very clear up front. This is not an interview. This is a conversation. And I am excited that it actually went down. I'm going to give you a little piece of it, just so you and I, if you haven't seen it, if you don't want to go through it, that's fine. They've already gotten 1 billion streams. They don't need any more love. We know who we're voting for, so let's just move on, though. Let's give it a try. Here we go.
Hello, everyone. My apologies for the late start. We unfortunately had a massive distributed denial of service attack against our servers, and saturated all of our data lines. Like basically hundreds of gigabits of data were saturated. We think we've overcome most of that, and so it's now time to proceed. But as this massive attack illustrates, there's a lot of opposition to people just hearing what President Trump has to say.
It's true.
And but I'm honored to have this conversation. I want to emphasize it's a conversation, and it's really intended to just get a feel for
y'all. If you ever hear me talking like Elon and I'm not as entertaining or energetic, like I don't have the energy that I have, I go to Elon level of energy. Just tell me, Mike, it's time to hang him up. Hang up the microphone. It's time. Be done. It's time. Go do something else. Go work for Game and Fish. Go do something. But that is awful. And the awful delivery. And then the Trump retorts. And let's be honest, Trump off the cuff is just is interesting at best. People want to hear what this man has to say so bad, but both of them have to say so desperately that they muscle through this. They muscle through this just. Oh, man.
What Donald Trump is just like in a conversation. It's hard to catch a vibe about someone if you just don't hear them talk in a normal way. And when there's an adversarial interview, like no one's themselves in an adversarial interview. So this is really aimed at kind of open-minded, independent voters who.
All 8 of them. Okay, Elon, we get what you're saying, buddy. That was it. And so what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to illustrate here, 8 billion people, 8 billion views. I mean, 8 billion views, 1 billion views. That had to be some amazing content because the delivery sucked. Just call it what it is, right? The delivery was just terrible. It was boring. But then, then Trump gets in there and does the same thing. I love that Trump pointed out that Kamala's just following along, talking about the insulin, which he did, talking about no tips, no taxing on tips, which was his idea, and saying that she's going to secure the border just as soon as day one, gonna secure it. I thought I pulled it, and I guess I did not pull it. Kamala Harris was asked in a not a interview, but just she was at a school or something like that, like a university, and she was asked if she was going to close the migrant detention centers. The answer from the commander-in-chief or potential commander-in-chief is no. Why would I close the migrant detention centers? We need to detain them so we can find out who they are and vet them properly, so we're not hosing our entire nation. She said her answer was day one. On day one. Yep. Going to close the migrant detention centers. And then she says, I'm going to secure the border. Secure the border. I am too, Greg. I am glad that he is on our side as well, because he's exposing the younger generation to the sub-Gen X's, whichever gen we assign them to basically do like Elon said, the vibe really that you don't get on a debate stage, the vibe that you don't get in a campaign rally. You're stepping up something. Mm-hmm. There's no way to believe her. Wait a second. Now, hold on a second, Rhonda. If she did say she was going to close the detention centers on day one, I wouldn't doubt that. She would at least try. There'd be some sort of an executive action or something that she would be willing to at least get the cred for. Because if you remember, her partner in crime, President Biden, gave a like some 41, I think, executive orders in the first day or two. And part of those was executive action on the border, which opened it wide up. So, yeah. The vice cackler in chief. I do dig that. That Truman. Thank you very much, vice cackler in chief. But these types of things, along with the streamers that are backing Donald Trump, either backing Donald Trump or saying that they're not going to get involved in politics. That's a big thing. That's a huge thing for Donald Trump. And now that RFK Jr. is on the ballot for each and every state, it's going to be an interesting ride. An interesting ride. Yes. There are a lot of young Trump voters. I know there are a lot of young Trump voters. I do get that. I've seen Turning Point. I've seen these huge events that Turning Point puts on, and you're like, holy mackerel! I didn't think there was enough kids that could fill a high school gym that say they're conservative, that want to announce that they're conservative. It's unreal. Kamala Harris promising to secure the borders like O.J. Simpson. Tom Cotton said that. Oh my God. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, don't you remember that? Don't you remember the good old OJ days? Oh, yeah. Do you know how much money I made on a line called OJ Did It? Oh, my goodness. I was working for a company called Logo Gear, and we had an OJ Did It line. No. I mean, you could not sell that merch today. Could not sell that merch today. We had an OJ Did It country club that had a golf ball with 2 knives through it that were bleeding. Sold like hotcakes. Sold like crazy. I'm not kidding. It's bad. Can't do it now. But yeah, we made some money on that. Yeah. Thought I heard today claiming he's not a resident. New York. Did that? New York took him off? Yeah. What's New York? New York's going to go Kamala Harris anyway. I almost said Biden. That's how weird this whole thing is to me. Yeah. Let's jump. Thanks for hanging out with us. A lot of fun always. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up on this, but there are 2 stories out there about the biggest American brands basically we have. One is John Deere and the other is Harley Davidson. Now, they are being exposed for their DEI ways, their diversity, equity, and inclusion programs that have basically taken the entire, vibe. I'm sticking with the Elon word there. The vibe where this John Deere, remember? Nothing runs like a deer. This is Midwest. This is hard working. This is roll up your sleeves. This is getting dirty. This is their whole brand is now Pride Month and DEI. And these guys exposed that their headquarters was just, it's going the way of not John Deere. And then when you hear the same about Harley Davidson, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. John Deere and Harley Davidson are just going the way of woke DEI. No, say it ain't so. It's true. I listened to a 20-minute speech from the Harley Davidson CEO, not an American CEO, talking about how he hooked up with Sir Richard Branson of Virgin Empire and said, this is the way to go. Essentially, we are going to hire on gender identity and skin color, not the best person for the job. And I can't think of, and that's right, Harley Davidson is going to be, I don't know if it's Mexico. Oh, John Deere's moving to Mexico. Okay. What's up, Jay? There was, do you remember that during the Romney Obama election, during the debate, where Romney said that soon Jeep will be made in China? And the PolitiFact's like, that's the biggest lie. Year and a half later, what happened? He knows what's going on. Yeah, so much. And that's right, Jim. So we're not focusing on quality product. We're not focusing on our brand. They're going the way that Bud Light did when Bud Light went with the Dylan Mulvaney campaign, or the trans can. Remember this? And the not the advertising, I apologize. The marketing director for Bud Light for Anheuser-Busch said we need to move away from the Bud Light frat kind of vibe that Bud Light has, the fraternity party, drunken old white guy kind of vibe. And they went to a trans person and they got scorched. I think they laid off hundreds of people. They had to, because everybody stopped buying their product. And by the way, that's the best way. I applaud America, whether you go on one side of that trans can issue or the other. I applaud America for protesting in the right way. We protested with our wallets. If we don't like the company and the way the company's going, we don't like they don't align with what we want and our ideals, we're not going to give them our money. That's definitely the way to do it. Definitely the way to do it. So, all right, Greg's asking, do you think Kerry has any way to win? I'm going to get to that in a few minutes. But so we have John Deere and Harley Davidson. Sturgis was, I believe, last week, or it's still going on this week. The videos I'm seeing online, you guys can look them up. The videos are the entire multi-thousand square foot Harley Davidson exhibit at Sturgis, which is the biggest motorcycle rally in the world. Empty. Because their board and their CEO are just doubling down on it. They're like, okay, we get it. We see what you're saying. Harley Davidson isn't that brand. We won't, nope. They're DEI all the way. Guess what's next, gang? The reason why I bring this up is because Delta Airlines, here we go, leaning in on stuff that no one cares about, but they have to hire a DEI director. A director of DEI working from her home, of course. Here is the DEI director for Delta Airlines.
There are more subtle forms of communications. I would call them the little C communications. They might even be verbal communications. So we're beginning to take a hard look at things like our gatehouse announcements.
Oh.
We welcome ladies and gentlemen. We've asked ourselves, is that as gender inclusive as we want to be? We're looking at some legacy language that exists in some of our employee manuals and getting to the root of the way some things are described and saying, does that actually send a message of inclusivity? So I think
it doesn't have to. You know why? Because I want you to fly my butt from here to Vegas. I want you to fly my butt from here to my hunting trip. That's what I want. I don't care if everyone's included or not. I don't care. This is getting to a point where let me get to this now. It's getting to a point where I don't know where we'll be in 4 more years. And this was a conversation I was having with my girlfriend on the way back down to the valley this weekend. She said, what do you think it'd be like if Kamala wins this and there's 4 more years? And I said, I don't think we can, at least economically. I'll tell you that right away. Economically, there's no way we survive that. As a we the people, if we keep this trajectory going the way they've got this thing going, and she keeps the same cabinet in there and they run the same way, we're done. This fundamentally changes the United States of America 4 more years of this. And then you go economically is one thing. Then you go legislatively, same thing. With another 10 million people coming across the southern border, we're toast. How about defense-wise, militarily? We just can't. And then we have this environment of corporations getting these social credit scores. And in administration, by the way, this is straight from Washington, D.C. Y'all can fact check it, find it. I'm telling you, it's happening. The banking industry is what is enforcing this social credit score nonsense from the Biden administration. So if you are Delta Airlines, you have to have this woman. You have to have her there.
Subtle forms of communications, I would call.
You have to have a DEI director. You have to have somebody running the program for DEI, or you're not getting funding, or your interest rate goes up. This is the same thing the Obama administration did with, it wasn't Fast and Furious. It was not with the gun running, but it was with Operation Choke Point. Operation Choke Point was cut off the firearm dealers and the firearm manufacturers at the source, at the banks. So the banks get busted. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to talk to the Fed about this because this shows right here that you're lending money to firearm manufacturers. It shows on our little ledger here that you're lending money to firearm dealers. And why can't we? It's a great question, Chris. Why can't we have the best person? Best person has gone to the wayside again if we have another 4 years of this noise, this nonsense. I don't know what we fought for, everybody. I have no idea what the entire civil rights movement was about if we are going to continue to now just judge people by the color of their skin. I don't know what our fight, all of our fight, because we were all in it here. A lot of us weren't around for the civil rights movement. But what we're in right now, well, I'm sorry, we were all in together, was the Title IX movement. Title IX. We fought for women's equality, girls' equality in sports. And now we're letting dudes beat them in the face in the Olympics. I don't understand, at least, and this is what I've said several times. We need progressives in this nation. We need progressive legislators in this nation. We truly, truly do. We also need solid conservative legislators as well to slow down that process. We need to move forward as a country. We need to change and evolve, try things, see if they work, see if they don't, move. And usually it's a progressive mind that does that. It's the conservative mind that says if it ain't working, we're pulling that back, or just slow down. Let's try it this way. So there needs to be a balance of thought in our governance. Okay. So but what I'm saying is we have such a hard left lean right now that it's almost to the absurd. And if we do another 4 years of that without having somebody come in, RFK Jr. or Trump, whoever it is, and says, hold the phone. And by the way, the left is leaning so hard left, they make RFK Jr. look like a Republican. You have a lot of conservatives will be voting for RFK Jr. Mark my words. He's going to get more votes than Ross Perot. It's going to be interesting how that plays in. And Chris says we've gone backwards. That's not what he fought for. It's not what his brethren died for. It isn't. Because you look at Kamala Harris is very open about the equality of outcome. The equality of outcome is socialism. Plain and simple. So when I'm asked the question by my very liberal girlfriend, do you think what do you think happens if she wins? I don't know if we can handle it. I don't know if we can take it as a country. With this, you saw none of this DEI, diversity people talking about on Zoom calls under Donald Trump. You never heard that. Because it didn't fly. That wasn't the heartbeat. That wasn't the pulse of America and we the people. And it's still not. So let me do this. Let me see if I can help you out a little bit. Because of course we say that it's the college institutions that are ruining our kids. They're poisoning, they're indoctrinating. You're right to say that. But I found something that is kind of interesting. I believe this is Oregon State. I'll have to, as we go along to the video here. This is a woman, a biologist, a professor, scientist, talking about the difference between male and female. There is a kerfuffle in the crowd as the students are just, and trust me, they're right out of central casting. It's like George Soros put them there himself. They get up and cause a beef. But I want to show you what happens at the end. So stay with me on this. This is very, very interesting. Check this out.
Accurately that there are differences between men and women. This is a strange position to be in, to be arguing for something that is so universally and widely accepted within biology.
Right there, I love this woman. I want to go up and give her a giant hug. Oh, it's Portland State. That's where we're at. Okay. She said it's odd to be odd to be in this position where we have to argue something that is universally and widely accepted within biology, that there's a boy and a girl. There you go. But she says it's a weird situation to be in to have to argue that. Now, there's two panelists with her. The professor's off to the right side. There's two panelists there with her that disagree with her. And that's how we have the conversation, but the students ain't having it.
What is not as widely accepted is that culture is also evolutionary.
Okay.
But I'm going to argue that biology and culture are both evolutionary. Let's look at differences between men and women that are explicitly anatomical and physiological.
Oh, you're going to get in trouble, girl.
Are men taller than women on average?
Yep.
Does anyone take offense at that fact?
Shouldn't. Oh, wait, hold on. They should have gone to the crowd. There's probably like 8 people. I'm offended that men are taller than women on average. Like, there's nothing you can do about it, champ. But here we go.
Are you irritated?
There's always a standout.
So I would say you could be irritated by it. You could be irritated by the fact that women have to be the ones to gestate and lactate. You could be irritated by a lot of truths.
But there she goes. First one's up. Like it's like a popcorn now. It's just wicked. Every blue and orange hair person is going to pop up here and it can't happen.
Offense is a response that is rejection of reality. So men and women are different on height.
Yep.
They're different on muscle mass.
Sure are.
They're different on where fat is deposited on our bodies.
Truth.
Right?
Mine right in the love handles right over here. So it's not like I don't call them love handles really. Those are my storage tanks. Those are solid investments. Yeah, so you can't take those away from the solid investments.
Our brains are also different.
Oh, now we're throwing things and now we're taking speakers and knocking them down.
So there
Security.
Yep.
This is what happens. Oh, did they shut off the volume? Can you hear? Can everybody hear?
Really? Oh, how are you arresting me and escorting me out after I vandalized the place? How dare you? This is Portland.
He's a piece of shit. That's not okay. Even the women in there have been brainwashed.
Should not.
David, yep. It's awesome that the camera goes right to this. The women in there have been brainwashed, and then boom, camera goes right to this. Fantastic. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that, guys.
So there.
Security.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. Get back to this.
He's a piece of shit. That's not okay. Even the women in there have been brainwashed.
Oh, brainwashed.
Should not listen to fascism.
Fascism?
Should not be tolerated in civil society. Nazis are not
Nazis are not welcome in civil society.
in civil society.
Fuck the police! Power to the people!
Power to the people! Not the boys and girls. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna
Here we go. This is where it saves. I'm gonna just put up a video so we can be like, oh, yo, college these days. Screw these people. Yeah. Okay. Listen to this. Listen.
raise our voices. The conversation's gonna go on.
Look at this. What? What are we hearing? We're hearing applause to the conversation and debate will continue. What up, Portland State? Yeah, let's go.
Let me be crystal clear.
Get him, Prof.
Let me be crystal clear. People do not have the right to tell you what you can and cannot listen to.
Preach.
People do not have the right, fringe elements of society do not have the right to hold you hostage to discourse. Mm-hmm. This is a university. If we cannot have this conversation here, we can't have it anywhere. We have to be able to talk about it. No issues will solve.
Who this guy? Protect him at all cost. Seriously. Clone him and get him to every university in the nation.
Of themselves. That sort of behavior is unacceptable.
Here, damn, here. Look, let's just, look, I will give you, because I have bent to the rules a lot. And as a 49-year-old man, I don't want to participate in changing my language anymore. If you are telling me that I have to accept that you are in some sort of make-believe, I might not, but I don't have to. I can choose to. So I would hope that you would choose that as I'm clearly looking at a male, I would appreciate it if you choose to recognize my pronouns and recognize me as the female that I identify as. All right, maybe. But if I say, hey, bro, and I'm like, ooh, my bad, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to jump into your fiction. So here's what I propose. Of course, a third category. Maybe with Title 10. How about that? We stop gutting Title 9 and we bring in Title 10. And Title 10, I don't know if there's already a Title 10. I'm just going to make this one up. Title 10 is the trans inclusion They get your own. You get your own badminton team. You get your own basketball team. You do what you want to do. There you go. Problem solved. Problem solved. But there's a boy and a girl. There's boy, there's girl, there's trans. Period. That is it. And if genitalia, by the way, doesn't make you a man or a woman, how is removing them or altering them, changing them, and validating your fiction? Exactly. There, I said it. I feel better now. I feel a lot better. I appreciate you guys letting me get it off my chest. But I don't understand why. And by the way, it was their right to stand up and leave. Totally their right to stand up and they want to scream and holler and talk about Nazism and all this nonsense. They have no idea what they're talking about. They have no idea what a Nazi is. By the way, I think 2 election cycles ago in Germany, the Nazi party was third vote getter. Watch yourself, y'all. Now you might learn what one is. But it's their right to do that. To vandalize the place, not their right. But it is their right to do that, and I will applaud them for their misguided passion. But if they put that same sort of passion, that entire group puts that same amount of passion in another title, whatever we want to call it. Title X would actually be pretty solid. So Title 10, I think Title X might fit in there pretty nicely. But you want a trans division? Go for it. Fight for that. Make that your passion. Don't fight for biological males playing in biological female sports or vice versa. Don't. And by the way, we already have that, and we've had that for a hot minute. A friend I knew long time ago, Tina, she actually was a running back for a high school football team, or fullback for a high school football team. They had women playing in men's sports. They had nobody with women in men's wrestling. Yeah, had it. Okay, go if you want to do that. Have the division. That's all I'm saying. It should make it. It should make it a whole lot easier to just move past this, because we're denying, as this professor said, we are denying basic biology, accepted biology, and we can still have everybody working out in this whole deal, but they're boys and girls. Period. The boxer, by the way, that I won money on, because hey, if they're going to allow that boxer to go and compete, that male to compete against women, I'm betting on that back. I'm getting this DraftKings app and we're betting. I won. Okay, what am I gonna do? Sit and complain about torches, pitchforks? Nope. I'm like, no, Daddy's going to Bass Pro after this. If they want to say the condition that the boxer had was a disorder that, as a female, was given a Y chromosome during development, yeah, that's a male. Period. For those that skipped biology class, we all start female. We all start XX. And then for the dudes, we come kick that other X out of there and we pop a Y in there and boom. Why? Because we can. Dude, seriously, Greg, it would be, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be entertaining? I'd watch it. I would definitely watch it. And by the way, we have, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers here. We do have men playing in women's sports right now. Nobody seems to complain about it. Someone you know. Yes. Let's see. In front of the girl, high school was a hockey goal. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Played up boys travel teams. That's right. I'm telling you, man. Look, if you got the skills, make it happen. By varsity level of high school, the dudes are just too damn big. It's right. You know why? Because men are on average bigger and stronger than women on average. On average, are there girls that are strong? My daughter, intern Beans, is stronger than me. She is. I don't know what happened, what kind of genetics she got in those legs, but she can press like a bazillion pounds. She is strong. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, let's before we go, I'm gonna try to, if I can, and I don't know what we're gonna call it. So help me along with this. I want a really funny, cool video at the end of every show. So you guys call it. You help me out, my creative talent out there, but I got a really fun one. It's the Average Man Olympics. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But did you get this? I don't know if you saw this, but this is, to me, is such an interesting story of Tiffany Henyard. Do you know what Tiffany Henyard is? She is a mayor of Dalton in Illinois. Dalton, Illinois. She's the mayor, and she's a supervisor in a neighboring town. This woman is one of the biggest pieces of work you will ever come across. I mean, just look, they had a song about it. I'll just say the lyrics. Maybe I'm not calling her this. I'm just saying the lyrics. Hood rat, hoochie mom. You didn't see that coming, did you? Nope, you didn't see it at all. This is decompression session. I love that. This is a woman that is a fraudster. She is a scammer, and she got busted. So this is a interesting story. Okay, good. Again, her name is Tiffany Henyard, and she made headlines because she was the first black mayor, she was the youngest mayor, and the first female mayor of that town. So she made herself a little starlet. I'm actually seeing a picture of her right now. Let me see if I can pull this one up here. Let me show you what this is. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see who I'm talking about here. She is everything that you would think she is. Here we go. Tiffany Henyard. Here we go. There we go. Okay. There she is. Okay. Wonderful woman, right? And by the way, she has a picture of herself on the cover of some magazine in front of her for her photo op. That is the kind of person that we're dealing with here. Now, the town folk of Dalton got a little worried about some spending going on because she went from, someone running for mayor to balling, and I mean balling lifestyle. So here's what Illinois did and why this is important. You're thinking, what, some elected official? Oh, wow, especially in Illinois. Wow, they're on the take. $3.6 million she scammed from the coffers, and you know where she is? Neither do I. Neither does anyone, because she's on the lam. She 3.6 million bounced. So for the longest time, for a couple of years, she's been, no, I haven't. No, I'm not. I'm but it's coming to me because I'm a black woman. You want this identity politics crap. This is all misogyny. She I didn't do anything with the money. All of my expenditures are on the up and up. How about a $40,000 day for personal items from Amazon? I've spent too much money on Amazon. I've not spent $40,000 on Amazon. I have not spent $40,000 in a day on Amazon. Here's the deal. So Grizz said this: you can't get away with that as a mayor in Congress and up. They didn't get away with it. Here's the gig, though. Listen what they did. This is why this is so fascinating to me. And I think we need to adopt this on a national level and on a federal level. Listen to this. How did they bust her? This mayor got busted because they brought in a scammer to catch a scammer. They brought in Lori Lightfoot, the former mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, one of the worst mayors in the history. And Chicago mayor is probably the most corrupt. Mayor of DC and mayor of Chicago are the two most corrupt positions you can have in politics. They brought in Lori Lightfoot to head up a team to find out what this woman was doing, and she busted them in no time. I'm not talking about a Mueller investigation that took forever. They say, here's what we're going to do. Exactly, Beetlejuice. We're going to bring in a scam artist, a professional scam artist, in the former mayor of Chicago, to look into who we think is a scam artist in Dalton. And we know this is kind of to catch predator kind of thing. It's like, we know they know exactly where to look. And Lori Lightfoot, in no time at all, didn't drag it out, didn't just go for the hours build, found exactly what this woman was doing because she knows why aren't we using this? Why aren't we? Go back to the idea, like back in Silence of the Lambs, right? Where they go into Hannibal Lecter and they're like, you know how to find this bad guy because you a bad guy. Why aren't we using bad guys to catch bad guys? Dock the sentences a little bit, maybe make better plea deals, whatever it is. But help us catch the little fish, help us catch the big fish. I think it's a fantastic idea. Wow. This is an in-flyover news segment. I like that. Yes. Because you're not seeing it, but I think this is one of the most entertaining stories we have had in a long time. because she is just a character of herself. It gets worse. If just you think this couldn't get any worse, it gets worse. The police chief of Dalton has now been indicted as well, because they've nicknamed Tiffany, by the way, the Dalton dictator. This is Chief Louis Lacey. He has been hit with 9-count indictment for bankruptcy fraud and other charges, and he was accused of scheming to hide assets and income to trick creditors to avoid paying settlements tied to past lawsuits. This guy became Mayor Tiffany, the Dalton dictator's bodyguard, basically personal security detail. She paid him in 1 year $200,000 in overtime. In a year. Overtime. $200,000 in a year. Holy mackerel. Sometimes, do you think, are you like me in this? Sometimes do you just think, what happened? Oh, I had one of my Echo or Alexa thing. What? I don't know why they were talking. I think the robots are taking over. Anyway, are you guys like me and you look at these stories and you're like, that's it, Rhonda, exactly. Rhonda said this. I'm in the wrong business. Yeah. Do you think that sometimes? Like, why? Look, I could use an extra 200 grand this year. I think everyone can. In overtime. Bodyguard or gigolo? Probably both. A little bit of column A, column B. Yeah. This is but I think this is an underused idea. Like, we take Lori Lightfoot, and who basically just was skimming from Chicago her entire career. She was just vacations, all that stuff. We'll go to the mayors that we think are on the take, and that's Lori Lightfoot's new gig. You know right where to look. You know right what they're doing. We know how they know how to do it. So why don't you go in and bust them? There's so many things we could do this with. So many things. We got a lot of guys. We have a lot of dudes that are in jail for the drug trafficking trade or the human trafficking trade. A lot of them are in jail. Hey, we're going to lighten up your sentence a little bit. You're going to go help us get the big guys. How do they do this? Where are they? Let them turn on them. It makes sense to me. Or not even turn on them. Just like, they're probably rivals. You get Chapo out there. Here's the deal. I want Chapo's supply chain guy as the transportation secretary. You heard that right. Could you imagine? You're the head of the supply chain for the largest drug running operation in the galaxy. You can take over Secretary Mayor Pete and get us back to where we need to be and bring prices down a little bit. I'd be willing to cut his sentence in half. Everybody with me on that? Let me see here. Okay. We get $600 and we're investigated. Yeah. This is $3.6 million and she's on the lam. Yeah. When am I going to be 50? Greg asks. In April, my friend. Yes, that's right. So I'll be 50 in April. There's a big blowout party. I don't know. Who knows? Or we're just going to go to get pizza. Who knows? Anyway, but why wouldn't you want the supply chain guy? Why aren't we tapping into people that have just made bazillions of dollars scamming to find other people that are making $1 billion of scamming and not just getting investigated for $600, like Chris said? Because this is an opportunity that we miss on so many levels. How about this? Do you know, like Jared Loughner, these bozo mass killers? Do you know anything about their parents? Why? Do you know anything about their siblings? Why? Why wouldn't we know everything about? We could find, if we have solid files on immediate family for people that just snap and go shoot people, you know what we're probably going to find? A commonality. We'll start to see a pattern, start to identify things. Oh, this is what that, okay. This is that. Yes. April what? Yes, the month, Chris, fantastic. Rhonda, 19th. That is it. Yes, last day of Aries, I believe. Oh my goodness, I can have Sky on, a good friend, dear friend, and break down like all of these moons and signs and all. Whoo, that's a whole not science, but that's a whole at least hobby in itself. But yes, dare I say trends exactly. So Brennan brings a good point that you can find the trends if you actually look for the people around these other people. And in this Tiffany Henyard story and bringing in Lori Lightfoot, a high profile former mayor of one of the biggest cities in the world, and saying, go sniff it out. Go find the bad. And she did with a quickness. 3.6 million. This woman scammed $3.6 million from the system and just baller lifestyle. And then gave her personal bodyguard or gigolo, whatever you want to call it, $200,000 in overtime in a year. But I'm telling you, we're missing opportunities. So if you think about that, you think of the criminality of it all. Could you imagine if we just got somebody from the Clinton Foundation? Exactly. Yeah. But we know if you have something on the Clintons, you're not going to be around for questioning very long. No, not at all. Not at all. So what are you calling a wise ass? Lori wasn't about to be one up. Hey, there you go, Brendan. Boom, right there. Lori Lightfoot was not about to be one upped by some small town mayor. Exactly. Okay, so even go with the criminality of it and the ego. Do you see what she's doing down there? She's pulling this off, and you couldn't pull it off. Yes. One of those stubborn, hard-headed buddy. Let me tell you something. You have no idea. Rob and I together, I'm surprised we made it this long. Because we're hard-headed, stubborn punks that we just, yeah. But that's called a cusp, apparently. Taurus and Aries. It's a cusp. See, I'm learning. I'm trying to learn. Again, I tapped out at 49 and trying to, you have to tell me I have to say something a certain way, or I can't say this word and I can say that word and I cannot. I'm done. Sounds like a jet. Oh, okay. Yeah. Could you imagine if Hunter Biden turned? Holy. I mean, think about this. When Pop's gone, if they haven't given him a, first son golden parachute kind of package, easy, Grizz, I know where you're going with that one. But if they haven't given that, he'll turn. That guy would seriously turn on his entire family. It'd be, yeah. Did you guys see by the way, that the Secret Service, they threw that cocaine away. Threw that bag away. Anyway, we threw that away. It said it had HB on the front, but we didn't know whose it was. We had no idea. No idea whose that was. I like this. Let me find this again. Who brought this up? Was it Brendan that had the name of the day here? Let's see here. Decompression session. Who did this? Mike's decompression session. I like the in a flyover news. We're gonna definitely incorporate that as well. Okay, I like this. The flyover news. All right, Brendan, I appreciate that. Mike's decompression session. Let's do that. Breakdancing is no longer an Olympic sport. I don't know if you guys saw this headline, because after that bozo from so I'm sorry. She was an Olympian. She made a fool of herself. I blame the people that allowed her to do that. The entire Australian team that just said, you know what, go do that. That's their fault. That is their fault. So I said it's Hunter's Coke. So they let her do that breakdancing thing. Breakdancing was on okay, you guys got one more time, one more shot at this. If it doesn't fly, it's not, because I don't know if you noticed, but back in the day, I don't know if they still do this anymore. They had exhibitions during the Olympics, and the exhibitions were kind of tryout sports. We're kind of like, do you like it? Do you not? It's an exhibition, and people like it. Okay, became an Olympic event. Same with breakdancing, same thing. And then no one watched it. No one cared about it. Can you name one medalist in the Olympics? How about anyone on the U.S. team? I think Boogaloo Shrimp is no longer around. From electric to break into electric Boogaloo. So it's no longer a sport because of this Australian chick. the entire IOC just said, okay, you guys had your one more chance, because they were like, give us one more chance. One more. Paris is going to be it. We're going to put on a great show in Paris. And then poof. She has a no. She has a PhD in cultural movement focused on breakdancing. Her company was one that ran the qualification. You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. That is fantastic. Okay. I thought, because I think I saw that, but I thought it was parody. I thought it was somebody making fun of her as her. Interesting. All right. I got to check that out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to. I totally. Olympic cornhole would be fantastic. I like ladder ball. I play ladder ball in the back all the time. I make people play ladder ball. Like, oh, let's play cornhole. No. Playing ladder ball. I like ladder ball. Okay. Yeah, I got it. That's apparently truth. Yeah. So Truman's backing in on that too. Whoa. Okay. All right. We'll dig into that, and I'll see if I can find some goodies for that tomorrow. But being as the Olympics are over, let's go into something from Australia that was absolutely fantastic, and I mean absolutely fantastic. It is the normal peeps Olympics. Here we go. Enjoy.
And look at the splash factor. They almost broke the thing. Showers of gold for Australia. Over at the Tracky Dagon Field, it was the Slippery Sam O'Keefe show. Just smashing world records for fun in the sock slide.
The sock slide. I would dominate. I would crush anyone in the sock slide. You cannot slide like me. You can't. Don't even act like you can. Oh my goodness sakes, you can't. I love the sock slide. Would be a fantastic Olympic event.
I thought she was going to slide out of the stadium, JB, but then she came back and won the gold in the knee slide as well.
Yeah,
the first Aussie woman to do this.
Y'all can beat me at the knee slide, man. There's no way I'm even trying that. It hurt. Look at this. Yeah, I want to see Tom
Cruise double at an elite average games.
That's right, because Tom Cruise in Risky Business. Nice. Still, he pulled up short in that one. I'm sorry, and I didn't do his tidy whities. He just did. No, man, I can slide for days. Yeah, little sweepers like they do in curling grizz. Oh my God, can we think of that? Let's do that. See, that's it. If there's a sock slide event in the Olympics, sock slide, and then you have the sweepers that Grizz just said, like you do in curling. Oh, this is fabulous. Let's do this. Founders go. Oh yeah, seriously. Greg, I'll tell you this, and this is funny. This is anything with cornhole, right? No one really thought of that, like beanbag toss, things like that. My former father-in-law, so homophobic that the kids can't even call it cornhole. Won't even let him call it cornhole. I'm like, and still I'm trying to get him to explain to the kids what he means. He just won't. I'm like, I know why you're saying that, dude. They have to call it bag toss. No lie. Lacrosse to the Olympics. Were you the lacrosse player? Brennan, is that what you, because you so some, okay, okay. All right. Yeah. We'll check about lacrosse. The only thing I know about lacrosse is that Archer, my favorite cartoon, he was into lacrosse, but let's get back to the Everyman Olympics here. Where is it? There it is. Here we go. All right. Sock slide, knee slide.
Sock. Quick jump to the towel flick, and guess what? More gold. Victor Rees whipping up a storm. That was one hell of a Chinese burn. Not sure you can say that, but let's move on. Back to the pool. It was an Ashes showdown in the classic catches. Yeah, Great Britain's Keithy Turnips and Australia's Buffer Benson.
Every dad here who has had a pool, we know this is a game. This is a sport that we can dominate it. Oh man, deadly. Oh, see, everybody's. There we go.
And in the battle of the average rings, poor old Keithy there having a whinge about a rubbish throw.
That left
the door open for some late buffer magic, and didn't the big man deliver? Oh yeah, what about the left hand on the great man? The grubs were on their feet. All right, let's have a look at this brilliant work in slow-mo. If we freeze it here, you can see he's going to drop the gold, JB. But then look how he rolls his wrist on it. That left hand delivers the goods again. It kept getting better at the forgot a grocery bag lifting. Russia
forgot a grocery bag lifting. That's a sport we can do. Guys, men, let's go. Come on, we got this, guys.
Disqualified.
My arms are like 6'3". I think my wingspan is 3 inches longer than it should be.
Unexpected item in the bagging area. He tried to put that avo through as a brown onion and got busted. Then it was a clean-up in aisle gold. Bluey McDonald with a gut-busting 32 items to take the chocolates. And saved himself 45 cents.
Oh, and this is how we do this. This is how we end this. Oh, this is so fantastic. People, just this is my dude right here. Why? And the trash can pulling.
And who could forget this? Into the bend. Oh no! The Dutchman's hit the deck. There's a pile. Call the council.
Look at this guy.
And the man's gonna win. Gold for Australia. Have some of that. Incredible. They'll make TV ads out of this, JB. I look.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay, there you go. So the decompression session. You're quite welcome, and thank you for the name, Brennan. And yeah, by the way, Grizz, I went to a grocery store years ago when I was back visiting the peeps in California, and they're like, it's $1 per bag. Like, what? $1 per bag? And he goes, yeah. And I'm like, just out of principle, because I was just mad. I didn't know that was a thing. I had probably 6 or 7 items. I didn't pull like that Olympic event. I went out to the car with each one and came back and got another one and went back to the car. And that lady just stared me down. I'm like, you're the one who wouldn't give me a bag. Who didn't have a bag? California. Mm-hmm. We need these games to be a real thing, Truman. I do agree with that. I definitely agree with that. See, just some fun. All right. I like the Mike's decompression session right at the end of every show. We'll see if we can find some fun videos to play around with. All right. Okay. Y'all, thank you again. All right. We're getting this going. We're finding our groove. We're getting back to the new normal, and let's make it happen. And we make it happen with each and every one of you. Like I said, Greg, I will get back to you, my man. Everybody, thanks for playing along. Love you so much. Share it out, like it. Just keep moving this, and we'll figure out what we're calling this dang thing and how we're getting it done. All right, y'all. We'll see you tomorrow at noon. Have a great afternoon, everybody.